journey. One day, just like many of you guys, Eventbrite, looking for things to do here in Atlanta, and found this man named Eric Anderson, and I didn't know who he was. I instantly went into research mode, and landed here. Yeah, you did that too. Okay, because we go to Google, we go to their websites, we go to their social media. I did all that too, sis. So, the 3-year training partnership that I had right before I came to Speaking for Newbies, I was making maybe about $400 per training, which is not a lot. But after finding Speaking for Newbies, I walked in the door, this same room, but we just had more chairs, and it was packed. And I was like, who is this black man, and how he get all these black, because it was mostly women. The men showing up today, so you can give us some credit. Because I was like, how you got all these black women in this room? I'm black, I'm a woman, I host events, and don't nobody come. So he knows something that I need to know. And so I stayed, and I listened, and I showed up. I was first that year, I was first this year too. I need my credit, just saying. And I remember when he talked, he shared us this, he's made some great upgrades since then as well. And I was asking questions about what he could do beyond the basics, because I knew what it was to speak and to train, but I wasn't making money. Y'all was making $400. Yeah. I'm like, but he got a full room. So we talked, and he walked. He didn't sit that day either. I never seen him eat. But I remember us pacing the floor together, trying to figure out what was missing. And just like you, I did a virtual event a few months later. In between that live event where we put our brains together, still couldn't figure out how we could work together, because whoever asked the question about the checklist, where's the checklist of the basics? That was exactly my question to Eric. I need a checklist to make sure all the basic, the foundational things as a speaker was covered, to make sure, that wasn't the missing piece. I needed what was next. And I had just written a book, so he mentioned, having a book to go along with what you talk about. And at that time, I left this part out. In 2019, I was living with a friend. I had lost my home in 2018. And I remember renting out an office space, but I lived in that office space for 9 months. And then I reached out to the friend and asked, could I stay? That friend's last name was Hardin. When I pulled up here for the Speaking for Newbies event, the name of this street is what? Hardin Avenue. So I knew it was God, if we got some saved folks. So, ended up writing the book, talking with Eric. He hosted, what was that, in April 2020?
Yeah, so that would have been last year after COVID, right? Yeah. I was going to do it here again. COVID happened, and that's when we heard you say I took it online. So that's the event she's talking about now.
So just all of this transitioning happening, partnership wrapped up, was facing homelessness again. Friend let me move in. I had just written the book. And I remember the friend saying, well, I've seen you speak. I've heard you speak. You got this book. So the partnership leaving is nothing. You got this, right? And people online who had seen me speak and seen me do Facebook Lives and things like that said, I want to sign up for whatever you do next. And so I decided to let them, and I hosted a life coach certification training for 5 black women, and they paid me $600 a pop. That instantly upgraded my pay, right? Putting the ring on, and I was like, I got this. So made my first $3,000 for that 1 8-hour training. That friend ended up kicking me out, y'all. So I was on my own, but I had a pocket full of change, so I was ready. So I ended up renting a luxury master bedroom suite in someone's home. And then I attended Eric's Speaking for Newbies, the virtual event, because like he mentioned, the live was canceled. And then after that event, he and I talked again. He did like a Q&A, and I asked him some question, and it clicked. And we both knew instantly what was missing, why I wasn't making as much money as I could have been making, and how we could work together. So we had that aha moment, and idea was also sparked on how I could automate my training. I remember his words saying, AJ, we need to get you off your feet, because I had to show up in order to make that money. And so we automated my information, we automated my income, we worked together for a year, and 6 months into that year partnership, I hosted my first virtual speaking event, and 2 hours later, I had made $3,579 from my pajamas, sitting on my laptop, and I went out and bought a new bed. And then between April of when I first hired him, all the way up until today, my company has now made $72,592.63. Thank you. And $63,231 of that came as a result of directly working with Eric. And now I live in a newly renovated home about 5 minutes down the street off of Hardin Avenue. There is a question. Oh, and I wrote a book, The Black Life Coach. And this is my new.
That's awesome. And so, quick question. So, when you did your first virtual event, had you ever done a virtual event before?
Ooh, child. I probably tried, but not like you taught me how to do it. So let's just say no.
And it was a very structured process. Like we went through it. I mean, we went through it step by step.
Yes.
And one thing I told her is I said, it seems very structured, but I said, when you do it, you're going to put your own twist on it. You're going to just put your own authentic voice on it, and it sounds and comes across completely differently when you do it. Right. So so I'm saying all that to say, while it feels a certain way in the instruction process, when you actually present it, it's all you, right? It's all you. The other thing I want to point out, AJ did wonderfully, is one, taking action. That's the big thing. Just taking action and getting it done and doing it. It was also doing her first event. I wanted to make sure she did it herself, because I've seen situations where the speaker, the presenter, the trainer, whatever, is actually just turning the student on to his or her audience. And they really didn't do it themselves, right? And it may not seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal, because then you can't really duplicate the success because you really didn't do it. But it showed you how to use Eventbrite, right?
Oh yeah, very creatively. So remember I said I walked in, seen the packed room, and I'm like, what does he know? I need to know that. He taught me those insider tricks that I still use today. And so now when I see him do it, I'm like, okay, he's still practicing what he preaches and teaches, which says a lot, because it's not theory. What's your slogan? Like, I do this for real.
Yeah, I'll
says that a lot.
Language out, but
yeah. And we had so many conversations that had aha moments, light bulb moments. We did the 3 hours multiple times recently. I still call freaking out, but just number one, y'all, and I'm glad. Okay, so we all black right now, right? I mean, it's not offensive. Eric, no. But no, to see a black man in this space leading here in Atlanta, willing to help his community. It wasn't just men only, women only, corporate structure. Eric will work for anybody who will do the work. And so it's about your mindset, and we talked about that recently. It's different when you are looking to get speaking engagements, when it's a hobby, it's cute, it's something to do because you see people posting on social media. But when you got to eat and pay your bills because you done got kicked out and lost your house, your hustle is completely different. So I had no choice but to build my stage. He put me to work, saying, you like what I do? Here's how I do it. And I went, I did it. I built my audience of people that I didn't even know I had. So how he's saying, send out the campaigns, tell people what you got going on, the tricks on Eventbrite and things like that, hacking the system, making it work, and up-leveling someone that can now be a success story, a case study, a testimonial for what's possible. Like, that spoke volumes, and it was literally an answered prayer, because I'm like, God, I need somebody to walk me through this. I need to ask questions and talk, real talk, crazy me, not having to code switch, So ask me another question, so.
Yeah, no, just what you said, it's a different thing to take the notes and do it, but to actually have somebody, there's a real cute video online of a dad and his daughter in a puddle, and I'll pull it out, but she wants him to hold her hand, as she jumps in this puddle of water, right? And I just say that because it's a different experience when you have somebody to hold your hand and walk you through the process and say, hey, do this, avoid this, okay, make this tweak here. It's a different experience doing that, instead of trying to figure out all the pieces of the puzzle and guess, right? Because it's guessing if you don't really know what to go do. And but again, with Nisi and AJ, they just did it, right? There was very little questioning as to what to go do and just kind of doing it. And the other thing is with, because even with AJ, it took a little second. It's not really for me to kind of process, okay, exactly what I'm going to have you do, right? It took a second to make that happen. And I'm not sure why, right? It was my only confusion, because again, my thing is, it's not always about money, but money will solve problems that not having money created.
Exactly.
Right?
Hallelujah.
So my thing is, let's get to the money.
Yes.
Let's get to it, Because again, whatever you want to do, it's not about making $1 million a month. If that's what you want, that's fine. You could scale and do that. But I'm saying, let's get to the result. That's what I'm trying to say. And you guys are here to speak, to learn how to speak, to write your books, to find an audience, to do all of that stuff. Let's get to the result and go help some people, right? Because that's what it's about, helping other people with your story and message, right? But again, I appreciate both of you guys for just taking action and doing it. And any questions from the audience? I mean, you could.
I want to throw this in really quick because you don't give yourself enough credit, but you're very patient, especially with me because I'm a lot and I know it. And I've had coffee today, so this is twice, y'all, twice. So he listens. He'll keep working with you until you get it. Black women, we know we're alive sometimes. So, I think I helped him get to the money. I'm like, okay, I did all that. What's